And we started the Clean Commercial Transportation Update as a way to bring industry together and to work hard to make people more connected than ever.
This year, we are thankful to all of our essential workers that have been keeping the economy going, and for all of our partners that are advancing solutions to provide clean air for all.
So from all of us at CALSTART, we truly wish you and yours a most safe, happy, and healthy Thanksgiving holiday.
CCTU is back on Friday, December 4th at 11 a.m. Pacific for our final edition of the year.
And we'll be taking a big look at all the news and trends that happened last year in the clean commercial transportation industry and setting the stage for the year ahead.
Make sure to register on our website at calstart.org/CCT update.
And we will CCTU soon.
Well, welcome back. We will CCTU right now. It's so good to be back with everybody after that Thanksgiving break. Hope yours was great. For this December 4th edition of CCTU, the Clean Commercial Transportation Update. Thanks for making Friday your CCTU day. I'm Bill Van Amberg.
And I'm Alicia Gildy.
And we hope your Thanksgiving was good, as we said. Alicia, how was yours this year?
Well, it was different for sure. Just two of us, but it was lovely and we had so much to be thankful for.
Yeah, and I hope everybody had a very safe and sane one. We are certainly thankful for one thing, our great team here at CCTU. They pulled together a nation and world spanning 1 hour CCTU this week. Alicia, let's recognize them.
I agree. Well, let's go ahead and bring them on after 27. This is our 27th episode, everyone. This is so incredible. And we couldn't have done it without our wonderful team. So first, let me bring on Casey Okazaki, who's been our producer, helping us with our lineup every single week. Casey, you've been brilliant. Thank you so much. And then we have Whitley, who has been just fantastic with just making sure that we're getting a good and fresh look out there and bringing a lot of excitement to the work that we do. Whitley, thank you for all your great work. And then we have Alex Gaddis, who has been one of the best interns I've ever met in my life for the production and keeping our show as on cue as possible with all of our videos and just the transitions. Alex, you've been wonderful. So thank you so much. You guys have all been great. And of course, Megan Fine, who may not be on with us at the moment, but she's also been just a really great contributor to all of the work that we've been doing at CCTU.
She sure is. And Alex is an intern? I thought he ran CalSTART. He's done so much for us. Well, today we've stretched to 1 hour to provide a little more focused time to survey the tremendous progress of the year in clean commercial transportation. In fact, we're framing the day as a progress journey, and we're really excited about where it takes us. Alicia, where do we start?
Well, we have an excellent progress journey roadmap here, everyone. So we're going to be starting off with our global and industry partnership breakthroughs and bringing on Christiana Facagna as well as Peter Jenkins. Then we're going to be going to our bus and innovative mobility team. So we'll be introducing Fred Silver and Karina Fortuna. Then we have our partners with Lion Electric Company, who are going to give us a real-time live site tour of their facility in Quebec. And then we're going to be moving on to our truck leadership team, where we're going to hear from Kevin Walkowitz and Nikki, who's going to be sharing with us their breakthroughs for this year in terms of their perspective. Bill, we have a lot more.
We sure do. We're also going to jump through infrastructure and fuels breakthroughs in the industry. We'll jump out to Ohio for the Stark Area Regional Transit Authority and their fuel cell buses, get a chance to look at their hydrogen refueling site. And then we'll kind of close out with a call to action with our CEO, John Boesel, giving us an idea of what to look forward to. But any journey at CCTU really starts with hearing from all of you, our great attendees every week. And we all want to hear certainly about the administration's new plans. Alicia, what's on our survey today?
Yes, I think, Bill, after having a lot of great breakthroughs in 2020, even though it's been a challenging year, we've made some great progress, and we'll be talking about some of that. But we also want to look ahead in terms of what we can plan for and what we can participate and support. So it's great to hear about the plans that the new administration is looking forward to. And we want to hear from you. What do you think is the top priority for the administration in terms of advancing clean commercial transportation? The options that we have here are first, how about incentive programs for medium and heavy duty vehicles and infrastructure? Second, policies to encourage medium and heavy duty zero emission vehicle adoption. Third, US manufacturing jobs and workforce development. And then lastly, how about the increased production of low carbon and renewable fuels? What say you?
Well, I know we're fighting really hard for those incentive programs for medium and heavy duty vehicles, but I think all of these are critically important, including US manufacturing. We've got to take back leadership in that space.
Agreed. All right, Alex, what are folks saying? All right. Certainly this is popular incentive. So I'd say the top ranked option here is incentive programs for medium and heavy duty zero emission vehicles and infrastructure. I'd say followed by policies. And then I think we're almost kind of going in order here, followed then by US manufacturing jobs and then increased production of low carbon fuels and renewable fuels. Thank you everyone for your participation. Bill, now over to our news segment.
Well, a really exciting week, as it has been this entire year. And today we've really got to give a shout out to what Volvo has done. Volvo has started production formally of their electric VNR. They announced it yesterday that it was formally starting production at their Dublin, Virginia facility, which is the largest truck making facility in the entire Volvo network. They've put $400 million into expanding that plant so it can also produce this VNR electric. Really exciting what they're doing with this. And I'll tell you, they're adding a number of services around the edges of this, including no maintenance on that truck. The maintenance is covered, an extended warranty, and they're also bundling the ability to buy the truck and infrastructure in one financial package. So really exciting what Volvo has rolled out yesterday. Continued excitement elsewhere in our industry. Proterra has now sold its 1,000th electric bus. You know, they started selling these buses in 2010, but the ramp and the curve has really been strong. The 1,000th bus actually goes to Broward County Transit in Florida, where they're getting 12 40-foot Proterra ZX5 buses. Our good partner Arrival is really capitalizing on a new deal that's been used called SPAC, or Special Purpose Acquisition Company, to capitalize. They really went public at $5.4 billion in market cap. These are the folks who are coming from the UK. They'll be building micro factories in the US, and the first one is going to be in South Carolina, where they'll build a bus and their small delivery van. Cummins is opening a facility in Germany for fuel cells, which is very exciting, using their wholly owned Hydrogenics group. But these fuel cells will be actually aimed at the train marketplace for commuter rail. So this is a real breakthrough market we're starting to see, particularly in Europe. And it's something that we might see elsewhere. But they're going to be actually building a number of these fuel cells specifically produced for these trains. They'll go right into the trains starting next year. We're also seeing some regulation competition. In the United Kingdom, they had a ban on fossil fuels for cars in 2035. The rumor is they're going to move it up to 2030. This after California also enacted a 2035 zero emission startup goal with the lack of fossil fuels in 2035. Now it looks like the UK is going to go up another 5 years. And finally, we would just call out our Drive to Zero program, which this week was acknowledged by the Transport Decarbonization Alliance and the Ministry of the Environment in the Netherlands to be the coordinator of a global memorandum of understanding to try and coordinate nations around the world to sign up to the same goals that California's Advanced Clean Trucks Rule has set, which is 30% zero emission commercial vehicles by 2030 and 100% by 2050. Really exciting for our program, or the Drive to Zero program, to take up the leadership mantle for that. And that's the perfect introduction, Alicia, to the first stop on our progress journey today.
That's right. And there it is. And gosh, we've had a great program this year featuring all of the good work of the Global Drive to Zero program and bringing on our director, Cristiano Fasagna, who's just been doing incredible work along with his growing team. So Cristiano, let's go ahead and bring you on along with your colleague and good partner, Peter Jenkins. And let's talk about what you saw are the top breakthroughs for 2020. We'll start with you.
Thank you, Alicia and Bill. Great to be back here at CCTU. And 2020 was really a great year for Drive to Zero. In September, we were recognized as an official campaign of the Clean Energy Ministerial and got the support from 9 nations, including Canada, China, Chile, Japan, and then 5 European nations who all agreed to work together to accelerate the market for zero-emission commercial vehicles. And and then second, there was the launch of our zero-emission technology inventory tool, or ZETI. It's an online public tool with all available announced models by region, application, vehicle class, and deployment. So really excited about this tool and making it a lot more comprehensive in 2021.
Great. Thank you, Cristiano. Peter, how about you?
Yeah, well, thank you, Alicia and Bill, and thanks, Cristiano. In addition to the 8 new nations that joined Drive to Zero in September, we've had really strong engagement from partners across the zero-emission vehicle ecosystem, including government, equipment manufacturers, fleet owners and operators, utility, infrastructure providers, and other knowledge partners. And we actually just crossed an exciting milestone with over 100 organizations now having signed the Drive to Zero pledge, including our most recent pledge from a major global fleet owner. So stay tuned for more information on that soon. Very excited to share that information. And through the pledge, these partners are really helping to send a strong signal, agreeing to work together to accelerate early markets for zero emissions trucks and buses. And of course, the Drive to Zero program is very much focused on implementation, and we've seen some significant activity and progress from some of these partners. So with that, we wanted to highlight some of the action that's taken place. We thought we could share a clip from one of our close partners, CCTU, a senior advisor on sustainable mobility with the Dutch government and the Transport Decarbonization Alliance, with whom we've partnered on a number of major initiatives this year about some of the work they're doing in the Netherlands.
Great, and Alex, if we can take that clip from CCTU.
For city logistics, there's going to be a zone of zero-emission logistic vehicles, so that only zero-emission vehicles will be allowed to enter with some exemptions in 30 to 40 cities by 2025 also. So that's basically all major cities in the Netherlands, since we're not such a big country as you know.
Well, it's been really exciting what the Netherlands has brought to the table here. And as you are looking forward now, Cristiano and Peter, for 2021, what's the progress we're looking for in the Drive to Zero program and in with our global partners in the new year?
No, definitely, Bill. I mean, as we all know, here in the US alone, we're seeing a lot of momentum towards zero-emission commercial vehicles. In California, the Governor Newsom announced a complete transition to zero-emission technologies for all medium and heavy-duty vehicles on the road by 2045. And following that, 15 US states also committed to working together towards 30% of sales of new medium and heavy-duty vehicles being zero emissions by 2030 and 100% by 2050. So you stole my limelight like earlier. I was gonna
I had to give you the news cred. Yeah,
exactly. But so really the next step ahead for Drive to Zero is to align all these leading nations around ambitious targets for zero emission commercial vehicles, at least with the level of ambition that we've seen in California, hopefully more ambitious than that. And that's really going to send very strong signals to industry members, to other countries, that the change is real, that is going to strengthen the future climate commitments that countries need to do ahead of COP26. That's going to be a big deal in 2021. And Drive to Zero is really committed to working with these 9 nations and ideally more on aligning these targets ahead and really speed the market through for zero emission commercial vehicles.
Great. And then Peter, I think you're looking at some breakthroughs in India, at least our hope.
Yeah, that's right. So in addition to the global MOU, we're really excited about launching some of our work in India in the year ahead, which is a top 6 auto manufacturing market globally, where medium and heavy duty vehicles really represent one of the fastest growing segments in terms of vehicle sales, and where the Indian government really has sort of prioritized a shift to zero emission vehicles, focusing on really a suite of policies and investments to incentivize vehicle deployments, to scale up domestic battery manufacturing capacity, build out the network of charging infrastructure, but where medium and heavy duty vehicles haven't really been the preliminary focus. So with the Drive to Zero program, we're really excited to begin engaging with partners in India to see how we can sort of identify opportunities to focus more on medium and heavy duty vehicles and to scale up some of the activity there. So yeah, we'll be launching an industry assessment to really understand more about where there are opportunities for us to engage with industry and what the state of the industry is currently, as well as working to develop some strategic partnerships with organizations on the ground in India who can help us recruit partners, communicate Drive to Zero's goals, and disseminate some of the tools that we have available to help accelerate the zero emissions commercial vehicle market.
Well, Peter and Cristiano, excellent work, and how exciting just the impact that you're making globally, and to hear about new partnership potentials that we'll see in India, Peter. That's exciting. Well, continuing our conversation and our progress journey and looking at advancements as we look at the bus industry and looking at how around the world, we're seeing the adoption of battery electric buses, including Moscow. Alex, let's show that next slide. Yes, so Moscow actually is deploying the largest battery electric fleet in Europe. This is the KAMAZ 6282 technology, with the ability to charge in 6 to 12 minutes with their charging technology, and in extreme cold temperatures of even as cold and low as -40 degrees Fahrenheit. So yes, Bill, I think this is a great way to segue into our next topic along our progress journey.
It definitely is. Our next stop on that journey is bus and mobility, and we're really excited about that. We've brought in members of our bus and mobility team. Innovative Mobility, we've got Fred Silver, who is Vice President, and Karina Fortuna, who is the Program Manager from our Northeast office. Welcome, Karina and Fred. It's great to have you guys with us here today.
We're thrilled to be here.
So I think I want to start get at it, Fred. What are in the industry perspective, what are the two big bus breakthroughs that you saw this year? What progress did we make?
Well, we saw some outstanding growth built on last year's 36% growth in zero-emission buses. We saw an additional 26% just this last year, and it's a sneak preview of a publication we'll be making shortly. But we now see orders in the neighborhood of 110 vehicles per bus, so we're actually seeing people go to scale. On the technology front, we saw 14 properties work together to develop the next generation specification for an automated small transit bus that meets Buy America safety standard testing and will meet the FTA durability requirements. So we're very excited to see these great new activities move forward over the last year.
Well, that's great, Fred. Thank you so much for those breakthroughs from your perspective. I would happen to agree. I would like to bring in now Karina Fortuna, who is our program manager at CALSTART, working on a number of innovative mobility projects and initiatives. Karina, what would you say are the top breakthroughs for innovative mobility?
Thanks for having me, Bill and Alicia. I just want to do a quick report out of what I'm seeing on the ground here in New York City. And while transit agencies are suffering a little bit still from COVID, biking is actually increasing, and we're continuing to see it increase. East River bike crossings have increased 21% year over year from July through October, and city bike numbers are holding their trips compared to last year as well. So really happy about that. Open Streets has been made permanent, New York City's curb space program, so that restaurants can operate. And so just thinking about all of these things together, I'm really looking forward to next year and how we can memorialize some policies to help create a more safe environment for cyclists. We also have the New York City DOT pilot coming up. So the micromobility scene in New York City is just really exciting right now. Clean mobility options, our voucher program in California, we just wrapped up the voucher window. So we're in the process of reviewing applications now to begin awarding funding to these different applicants. So we're really excited about that. We received a really diverse group of projects from applicants in communities that are most underserved and really need these options. So we're excited. there. And then last month, we launched our Innovative Mobility Working Group. We held our inaugural meeting where we had over 65 participants from just a really amazing, diverse stakeholder group. So from transit agencies, we had groups at the city, state, and we're talking about different things that we can do at the federal level. For mobility providers, we have shared fleets, but also infrastructure providers. So that was really interesting to be able to have all of those different voices at the table. So for CMO, if you are an eligible applicant, we'll have another window next year. So if you're interested in more information, you can visit cleanmobilityoptions.org or reach out to one of us for technical assistance. And for the Innovative Mobility Working Group, we're excited to just bring this forward and hopefully draw out some lessons and ideas for policy moving forward.
Great. Well, Karina, why don't you put some of that info in the chat box for people and they can get in contact with you. Fred, our progress journey is about to move on to our next stop, but can you give us a quick look at what's coming up in 2021? What would be your outlook for things that we need to be working on and look forward to?
Well, we're going to see continued growth in 2021, but we're going to really see the surface transportation reauthorization move forward, and we're looking for a fourfold growth in zero-emission bus funding, which get us to about 1,000 zero-emission buses per year. And then we are building on these wonderful statewide procurements that have occurred throughout the country. We're seeing prices come down. Fuel cell buses have dropped more than 25%. We're anticipating a huge bump in fuel cell bus sales over the year, and a real drive towards small buses as the cities try to downsize and economize on their large bus fleets.
Great. Well, thank you both for giving us this view of what the breakthroughs we've seen and where we're going next. And I think it's a nice transition, Alicia, to our next stop.
That's right. Yes, thank you so much, Fred and Karina. Great perspective sharing there. Thank you. Well, on our next stop of our progress journey today, we are at the facility in Quebec with our partner, Patrick Gervais, who is the Vice President of Marketing Communications for Lion Electric, and is going to be talking to us a little bit about their facility and show us around a little bit, including taking a look at their battery electric school bus and truck. So Patrick, great to have you. Thank you for joining us along our progress journey. And we're so excited to check out your facility. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about your facility and what we're looking at.
Hello, Alicia and Bill. Thank you very much for having me. Yes, we are here in a facility in Quebec, Saint Jerome, and it's a you are right now in our studio. We COVID obligated that we had to reinvent ourselves. So now we have a full studio here at the facility. So we're able to present our different products. So we have a Lion C over here, which is a school bus, and then we have a Lion 8 over there, which is a Class 8 commercial urban truck. And then over here, this is where we produce 3 lines of products, and we're producing 2,500 vehicles capacity here at the facility.
That is a great run rate that you guys are up to. And since you're teasing us with this bus, any chance that you could take us inside, give us a view of your school bus?
For sure, I'd love to show you around our Lion C right here to start with. This is a beautiful Lion C. It's made out of composite, so it doesn't rust. So you can see it's real also. It's not a fake one. So we're going to be able we're going to be able to walk in. We have 3 steps over here, which also made out of composite, which will not rust. If you come in here, you'll be able to see that, great visibility. Maybe you could hop on, Gabriel, and show a little bit of the visibility. We have a nice driver seat over there with the cluster that is giving us all the information on the electric components. We also have, really big, easy, accessible buttons to control. Really easy, drive, neutral, and reverse. So lots of space, great visibility. And one of the things that we're really proud of is that our school buses are 1 or 2 inch wide. So as you can see the aisle, there's a lot of space, so we don't have to go sideways for the kids to move around, and also for the drivers to reach the kids if there's any situation. 3-point seating belts, depending where you are at. We have a wide variety of seating belts, but for California, where it's obligated, we have the 3-point seating belt without loss of capacity with our school bus, the Lion C. I will walk you through our electric truck.
Hey, and as you're walking over to that, Patrick, can you share with us, you've developed kind of some modular drive systems that you're able to place into these different products. It's really helped speed you to market. Can you talk about that as you're walking over there?
Yes, you're totally right. I mean, obviously, one of the important things about electrification of heavy duty transportation is to have them purpose built. So everything that we do is purpose built for electric. So the engine is placed at, at the right place. The batteries are right in the middle of the chassis. We are at Lion Electric, having control of a lot of our components. We built our own chassis. We assemble our own battery packs. We have our own battery management system, our own BTMS, which is a battery thermal management system. So all of these things are really important to improve the capacity and also the uses of the different vehicles.
And one of our attendees has asked, can we walk back and see the battery packs or where the motor is?
We could take a look at the truck over here. This is a Lion 8. If you look, we have the battery packs over here. We're going to be able to module them depending on the autonomy and the range that you will need. The commercial truck goes to 250 miles, and our school buses goes to 155 miles.
Nice.
So as you will be able to see here, we have the engine right in the middle. There's no transmission. The engine is right in the middle of the chassis. It's really small, so it's not and then we have a flat nose where there's no vibration because the engine, obviously it's not diesel, but it's not underneath the seat of the driver. So it's really quiet, as you know, for electric, but also really efficient as a vehicle.
Well, Patrick, it's just so exciting to see where Lion Electric is going with their technology and seeing this truck platform. That is just fantastic. As we are bringing everyone through our progress journey and even looking ahead for 2021, would love to hear from you. What are you guys up to in 2021? What are the big things that you're looking forward to?
I mean, the last couple of years has been great. We have over 300 vehicles on the road, with 6 million driven miles. So we've put a lot of vehicles. We have 7 different models on the road as we speak, available now to purchase and for commercial use. They're not pilot project. And then we're going to have 11 of them in 2021. So, the refuse truck is going to hit the roads, the bucket truck. We have the Lion D also in the school bus industry. So lots of great news to come. We're also going to be building a new manufacturing facility in the United States where we're going to be able to produce 20,000 units. And one of the great news also we just announced is that we're going to be, building our own battery manufacturing plant. So we will have fully control of our battery systems from manufacturing our own batteries. So we're really excited about this for the upcoming months.
This is exciting. You're really heading up into being able to scale. Where is that site going to be in the United States again, Patrick?
Well, we're still in the decision process. A lot of things are going on. So we're really excited. We have 3 final destinations, which we can't unveil at this moment. But what I can tell you is that Lion will be creating thousands of jobs in the coming months in the United States. So we're really proud of that. We already have experience centers in Sacramento and also in Los Angeles. We have one in Seattle. We have one in Phoenix. We have one in Jacksonville, Florida, and New York, Albany. So we already have a good footprint in the United States, but the coming months are going to be even greater.
All right, Patrick, my friend, thank you so much for the time and this great setup. It was a pleasure visiting you in Quebec today. Thank you.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, Patrick, you are great. And I think folks wanted you to start the engine and and give us some more demo. We'll have to do that next year, but thank you so much for joining us. And I believe, Bill, we wanted to just quickly take a pause and share some upcoming events that we're going to have that we want to make sure that folks join us for before the year ends. So we have a Drive to Zero webinar coming up on moving zero emission freight toward commercialization on December 9th at 8 a.m. Pacific. Please join us for that, as well as a webinar on the 10th, looking at the business case for a low carbon fuel standard. And then lastly, on December 16th, getting paid via California low carbon fuel standard with zero out of pocket costs with Secret Trade. So make sure that you join us for these. And I know that Casey's going to be putting those details in the chat so that you can register for them.
Well, that's great. And I know for a lot of you, you're used to CCTU ending now at the half-hour mark because we've always tried to do 30 minutes. But for this special year-end edition, I know some of you have to drop off, but we're continuing on because we wanted to take a full progress journey around all of the clean commercial transportation industry this morning. And so next, what we'd like to do is give you a sense of some really some additional rollouts that not everybody always sees. We talked about Volvo earlier today. Let's look at what BYD is doing with the DHL fleet in Los Angeles. Now, this is also incredibly exciting news. They've rolled out 4 of their Class 8 tractors, battery electric, that DHL is going to be using to haul goods from the LAX airport to their distribution centers. And they've done it in time to gear up for the holiday rush. So this is actually really exciting. They're already running several of these tractors also with Anheuser-Busch in the Los Angeles region. And it's just a sign of really what's going on and the breakthroughs that we're seeing in this industry. So that does bring us to the next stop on our progress journey this morning. And that is to really look at the truck and off-road team and the breakthroughs we've seen in that industry. So I'm really pleased to bring in our senior director of the truck and off-road group. That would be Kevin Walkowitz, as well as Nikki O'Cook, who is our program manager for fleet and community engagement. So first of all, Kevin and Nikki, great to have you with us today.
Thanks so much.
Hey,
thank you. Excited to be here.
Yeah. So why don't we start with this? In terms of the truck industry, Kevin, in your mind, what are the big breakthroughs we saw this year? We've certainly started to see this initial scale, but what else do you see?
Yeah, I think, 2020, with as bad of a year as it's been for everything else, it's been a huge year for trucks, a lot going on. Probably, one of the most significant things, obviously, is the passage of the Advanced Clean Truck Rule in California and the upcoming fleet rules out there. I think this will really drive truck deployments across all weight classes starting in 2024, and it's going to really be able to provide some significant emission reductions by 2030 and 2035 and beyond. So, and even though it's not official yet, CARB announced the fleet rule to be implemented shortly thereafter. So that's going to be, those 2 rules together, I think are really going to drive and move some markets. And specifically in California, but, in following on to that, those rulemakings also resulted in this 15-state MOU being put in place by some key states. And we've already started to see some significant activities in those key states, thinking about infrastructure or policy frameworks in those states to really accommodate these trucks. So, CalStart's been very engaged in a lot of these efforts, trying to help move them along. Our beachhead strategies that we've developed and continue to refine, technology readiness and demonstration activities, such as we've done in California with the ZANZEF or the zero emission cargo truck activities, and really just trying to help create those ecosystems of success. So I think what's happening in California in 2020 is very significant. It's going to, as Cristiano showed earlier, moving across the country and then globally as well. So a big year for trucks in 2020. And then, as you say, the new model introductions. We just looked at our ZETI tracking tool in North America. It's showing 51 manufacturers offering products in the zero emission truck space. So pretty significant product offerings getting out there right now.
Yeah, big deal.
Kevin, yeah, that's great. And Bill and Kevin, we had the pleasure of speaking with the chairwoman of the California Air Resources Board, Mary Nichols, where we talked to her about the Advanced Clean Truck Rule right after it had been passed. So maybe, Alex, we can share a clip of that interview.
Part of this is, of course, the fact that diesel pollution is not just an air quality smog issue, or smog and particles. It's also a major source of toxic air content. People's health is being threatened, and you didn't mention it, but we're having this interview and living through a time where we're all isolated in our homes and offices, home offices, you know, communicating electronically because we can't be meeting together in a studio or a common place, and that's because of a virus which has been particularly devastating in communities of color, and these are the people that are not only being most impacted by the virus, but they're also the people who are subjected to the worst pollution. And at the heart of it all is our transportation sector. Transportation system, and the fact that we are so dependent on diesel vehicles to run our entire economy. So this is something that air regulators have noticed, and legislators and governors have noticed, and people are recognizing that there are things we can do, and we're fortunate that better technologies have been coming along at just the same time as this recognition has hit. So, you know, I think we do have much more political will to move than we have seen in the past.
Well, Bill and Kevin and Nikki, I just really appreciated her remarks, and especially the importance of the ACT rule to make sure that we are reducing the impact of environmental issues such as diesel emissions in our communities. And Nikki, I think that's a great way to bring you in and talk about the Transforming Trucks, Transforming Communities, and really the impact that program is going to make, ensuring that we're getting these clean technologies in these communities. Maybe share a little bit your perspective on that, as well as you've been successful with the implementation of the Clean Off-Road Equipment Voucher Incentive Program, which is another huge breakthrough for the off-road industry in terms of advancing zero-emission technologies.
Thanks, Alicia. I don't think that we can overemphasize really how important this new model availability is, because a lot of these vehicles, you know, they've been being tested, they've been with the larger fleets, but they haven't really been accessible to our small and medium fleets. And I think that with this new models coming forward next year, we're really going to follow on that momentum with this Transforming Trucks, Transforming Communities communications campaign, so that they can get the tools and the resources that they need to access this new technology. And I would also add that, you know, part of our work is also uplifting and amplifying the voices of the communities who have really been demanding these trucks in their neighborhoods and advocating, you know, for all of these years. And now the results are coming through. As you mentioned, the core program, it oversold by 2x. So we had started out with $44 billion available in that clean off-road voucher incentive program. And that's another great example of how these programs work to bring forward new model availability. Because now we can see a way forward in our port, rail, freight. All of these industries now have new technologies, new types of equipment that are available to them. It can all be seen in our catalog, which is at californiacore.org, which is not exhaustive, but it is very representative. And I think that seeing that all of this new demand and new model availability for both on-road and off-road equipment is just really great news for, you know, the emissions reductions and the neighborhoods who have really been bearing the brunt of freight-related air pollution for so long.
Nikki, and you did such a tremendous job on selling out core, and as you mentioned, double selling it out. So we've got a waiting list, and it shows the demand there. Hey, Alex, I'd like to pull up one more clip, and then we'll ask Kevin, and then we're going to have to move on, but ask about what's coming up in 2021. But I think this clip from the president of Volvo North America is so good.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are in the midst of an evolution in the way we think about transportation, and this moment is a key step in creating a future that we all want to live in, a world we are proud to hand over to the next generation.
So that was Peter Vorhofer when he was announcing that the production start. Kevin, what do you see in 2021? Can you give us a quick sketch? And then we're going to have to move our journey along.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. I think, looking forward into next year, we're seeing some real possibilities on further developments around additional product offerings and hopefully some national support to help deploy zero emission trucks. CalStart's been working with the Zero Emission Truck Coalition, and we're working with a lot of the industry members in that coalition to propose policies to do really three things. One is to maybe provide some significant purchase incentives for medium and heavy duty commercial trucks at a national level. That's really going to help move the market. It's also going to push for additional R&D support at the federal level to continue and improve cost and performance of these trucks. And then the last thing it's working to do is really provide some significant fueling and charging infrastructure support for these trucks as they roll out nationally. So we're really excited about maybe getting some national or at least 15 state MOU support around deploying these trucks in 2021 beyond just California. And the last thing I mentioned there was the infrastructure. I think we're going to maybe hear from Alicia a little bit on what's going on with some of the zero emission infrastructure development. But yeah, really excited about those developments, hopefully at the federal level through the Zero Emission Truck Coalition.
Well, that's great, Kevin. Thank you so much. And thank you, Nikki. And couldn't be more impressed with the great progress that we've seen in the truck and off-road sector this year. And yes, it's a great segue to the work that we've been doing on the fuels and infrastructure team. And maybe, Alex, I can share a few news stories in terms of what's really exciting for both electric charging as well as hydrogen. Yes, and this was a recent press release that Daimler has put out. They have a great partnership with Portland General Electric on demonstrating a first of its kind charging hub. Now, this is an opportunity to research and evaluate the logistics of charging batteries for light duty, medium, and heavy duty, including the eCascadia as well as the EM2 battery electric trucks. And I would say the next slide, Alex, where there's a lot of progress in the hydrogen industry, where we're seeing whether it's in Finland, looking at a roadmap for hydrogen, or Saudi Arabia, where Air Products is going to be putting in a green hydrogen production plant, as well as the Department of Energy is making some big commitments in terms of looking at how we can increase the number of research and demonstration projects for hydrogen coming this next year. So I think there's a lot of excitement both in battery electric as well as hydrogen as we look at medium and heavy duty applications. And that brings us to our next step on our progress journey, which is certainly near and dear to me as I oversee our fuels and infrastructure initiative at CalSTART. Certainly excited to talk about the breakthroughs that we've seen this year, as well as looking ahead in 2021, what we would like to see. But first, let me go ahead and bring in a wonderful partner in crime, our Vice President at CalSTART, Jasna Tomic, who's been doing a lot of incredible work at CalSTART on infrastructure. Jasna, nice to see you. Thank you so much for joining us at CCTU. Maybe
Hello, it's my pleasure.
Yes, yay. So maybe you can share with us, what do you see are the top breakthroughs this year for infrastructure?
Sure, Alicia, happy to do that. So there are many things, but things that stuck out in my mind primarily are, we'll mention again, our friends at Volvo Lights, with several locations of charging installed here in Los Angeles area for their new VNR electric trucks. So that's been great progress. And in addition to those, they've installed at those locations solar and battery storage as well to support the systems. Likewise, there's another similar project in Modesto, California with Frito-Lay that has, in addition to the solar and storage, they also have renewable natural gas. So looking at an overall really integrated ecosystem that would be supporting these electrification and just cleaner operations at these very large facilities. And then another sort of maybe under the radar thing that has happened last year was the change of this Rule 18 by CPUC, allowing private sites to resell electricity as a motor fuel at publicly accessible sites, something that apparently was a barrier. And last but not least, I realize this is a fourth one, but I think it's worth mentioning, the new megawatt charging system that has been tested out in October or September at NREL Labs, just testing out the different charging connectors that will take the infrastructure charging up with power out beyond 1 megawatt. So that's a good step in an important step in the right direction.
I agree with that, Yasna, and I think you highlighted just wonderful examples of where we're seeing technology going. And I think one of the things that I thought was really great, and at CALSTART was actually a partner too, and we had our wonderful partners and colleagues from the Southern California Edison join us to talk about the West Coast Clean Transit Corridor Initiative, which was really an opportunity for 9 utilities to evaluate infrastructure needs along critical freight corridors to evaluate capacity to support medium and heavy duty electrification for transportation. So that was a great way of looking at stakeholders working together to evaluate and anticipate needs so that we're ready to go. And using that as an opportunity for replication as we look forward in 2021. I would also say, Yasna, the other thing that I thought was really important is all the efforts around looking at resiliency. And we've had a number of conversations this year, including with the commissioner with the California Energy Commission, Patty Monahan, who was just really wonderful in sharing the importance of really prioritizing as we're building out and scaling our infrastructure that we are including resiliency measures. And of course, we have partners, and even soon we'll be bringing in our partner at SARTA who are introducing microgrids, and then other partners are looking at energy.
Oops, did we lose
it? Looks like Alicia had some really good thoughts there closing out infrastructure, but we had a little bit of internet. There she is. You back?
Oh, was I gone? Sorry.
Yes.
You're gone.
We had the glitch of the 2020s, which is internet drop off. But
well, you gotta love the world of Zoom and working in a pandemic. Anyway, Yasna, I just wanted to hear from you, and you guys may have missed what I was just saying in terms of observations that I made this year in terms of looking at how we can strategically plan for medium and heavy duty infrastructure along corridors and resiliency. Yasna, looking at 2021, what do you think we need to be doing, and what are you looking forward to?
And if I could encourage you to go quickly, because we have to move our progress journey, Yasna.
Yes, just jumping up to the next level. We're really looking forward to solutions that will provide charging for 50+ trucks. That's really on the horizon in California, and as well as blueprints for fleet and regional activities across the state. And frankly, thirdly, outside of California. We're really looking forward to pushing that and making that happen.
Perfect. Great. Well, thank you both so much. That was a great overview of what has gone on and where we go next with infrastructure. And that's a perfect segue to the next stop on our progress journey today, where we're going to be going to the Stark Area Regional Transit Authority and our good friend Kirt Conrad of SARTA, who is the CEO and executive director there and winner of CalSTART's recent Blue Sky Award. Kirt, first of all, our hearts go out to you. I know you've been dealing with family issues and COVID, and it's so great that you could join us here today. So first of all, thank you for that.
Oh, thank you. It's we just got one of those nasal tests, and I think they actually try to see if they can get it to count your ears. It's they bring out a yardstick with a Kleenex on the end, and
that will make you sick enough just in and of itself, won't it?
Yeah, that's lots of fun, lots of fun.
Well, look, you've been one of the leaders in really taking on, and in Ohio, really taking on leadership in both bringing hydrogen to the fore, thinking about the roadmap for it, but then using it in real world operations day to day. And can you kind of talk to us about what that took, your bus facility, what that refueling is like? And I know on your team, Tim has taken some video, and we'll try and run some of that video while you're talking.
Sure. When we first started with it, was an idea in my head. And one of the reasons why that people ask, well, why did it happen in Canton? One of the things that we have a partnership with NASA Glenn Research Center, In NASA Glenn, that's where all the power is for NASA. So we kind of had and all the power that's in space is done by a fuel cell. And here you can see, this is our fuel cell bus. This bus here, we run in regular service anywhere from 12 to 15 hours a day. There you can see the fueling going in the bus now. And it's an Eldorado 40-foot bus. It's made there in California. The fuel cell is actually a Ballard fuel cell from Canada. The funny thing is we actually get our hydrogen from Canada. We kind of jokingly around say that Canadian fuel cells require Canadian hydrogen. So it's kind of funny there. And you can see the bus here, it's hooked up. It's based upon the same fueling protocols that CNG uses. So if you have a CNG vehicle or fleet, this is going to look very familiar to you.
It does. It looks very similar, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. That
cable there is a grounding cable. Since hydrogen is the lightest element in the universe, it wants to combine with something as much as possible. So that grounding cable makes sure that there's not a spark that's going to come out and ignite the hydrogen. You can see there our partner is Air Products, and that's who actually puts gives us the liquid hydrogen. You can see here the business end of the bus. A lot of times when you open up a bus, you'll see the diesel motor, but you can see the black box underneath there. That is actually a 150 kilowatt fuel cell. There is a inverter and the electrical components to the vehicle. The fuel cell actually creates AC power, and so that has to be inverted to DC. The power then goes to the batteries that's on the roof itself. And there's a closer look at the 150 kilowatt fuel cell from Ballard itself.
That is the cleanest back end of a bus I've ever seen.
Well, we actually had it specially cleaned just for you, Bill.
Okay.
You can see there's some water underneath there. The only thing that comes out of this vehicle literally is water. What happens is the hydrogen goes into one side of the fuel cell. There's like an anode or a cathode. Oxygen comes in from the other side. Electrons released into the vehicle, and that's actually what runs it then. And the only thing that comes out of the side is water itself. And so here's the fueling facility.
Yeah.
From what we understand, this is the second largest in the country. The only one that's larger is AC.
AC Transit up in
at Orange County Transit.
Oh, Octa, yeah.
They have a larger one. They have a 15,000 gallon liquid tank. And you can see there, that's a vaporizer. What happens, the liquid hydrogen is stored at minus 423 degrees in that large tank we'll show you in a second. So it goes into this vaporizer and it literally evaporates into a gaseous form. And then you can see here, those blue things are both gaseous and cryogenic pumps. They can pump in both phases. The large thing in the background is the 9,000 gallon liquid hydrogen tank. So that will convert to about 2,100 kilograms of usable hydrogen. A kilogram has about the same energy release that a gallon of diesel has. And so then it's compressed. This is ground storage. It's about 7,500 PSI. And then it goes to this dispenser that we just saw on the other side. And it's put on the bus, and the hydrogen on that vehicle, on the top there, you can see where the tanks are. The hydrogen in those tanks is stored at 5,000 PSI.
Hey, Kirt, this has been such a tremendous walkthrough. Thank you so much for doing this. And we're going to have to kind of move along on our progress journey. But can you just share, what do you want to do in 2021? Where do you go next with SARTA?
So we're doing a lot of various demonstrations of technology with a lot of different corporate partners, so to speak, and trying to push everything from potentially Goodyear tires, having smart tires that's connected to the web, to another company looking at a mobile refueler. So a lot of things we work with across the board with the industry and trying to move things forward. And so really our ultimate goal is to try to get to renewable hydrogen. And so we're probably going to announce early next year some other partnerships with large energy companies to try to achieve that. So we're going to continue to expand our fleet from just the 40 footers to we're going to launch the country's first paratransit vehicle, hydrogen paratransit vehicle early next year.
That is outstanding. Kirt, thank you so much. And from Alicia and I and our whole team, the best to you and your family, and hope everything is copacetic and moves forward okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kirt.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that was just a tremendous tour of somebody who is actually making action happen on the ground. And that is something we celebrate so much. It's good to talk. It's better to act. And Kirt and his team are definitely great actors. That brings us to our final stop on our progress journey today. And we're really delighted to bring in the CEO and president of CALSTART, John Boesel. John, I think we'll be seeing you coming on. There you are. Thank you for joining us today.
Bill, very happy to be here. You and the team have done a really good job with CCTU.
Well, thank you. So what I'd like to kind of hit you with, and you've seen what the team has talked about, but in your mind, what are the big successes for clean transportation in 2020, even in the midst of COVID?
Well, Bill, it's a really good question. And in so many ways, this was a very tough year for a lot of reasons. But I think what was really encouraging this year, among many others, was the rise of the born EV manufacturing sector. We had just an incredible growth in that sector. These companies that are now facing issues of the legacy, being tied to dealers, legacy thinking, they're moving ahead, they're moving a lot faster. We now have the CEO of an EV maker is the second richest person in the world. That's who would have thought that one of our member companies would result in that happening. We have also seen just a number of our member companies go public this year. You mentioned Arrival earlier. There have been several others using now the SPACs. So I think that's been a really impressive growth. And I think we're entering that period where there's just going to be more and more disruption. We'll see more and more of these born EV only manufacturers, cars, trucks, and buses moving faster. And I think that will bring along the conventional OEMs, and we'll just see accelerating growth. I also think that a big development this year was what I'm kind of call the Sputnik moment for Governor Newsom. The California forest fires, we had 4 of the 5 largest fires in the state's history this year. Similarly to the way President Kennedy responded to the launch of the Sputnik, said we're going to put a man on the moon. The governor is saying we're going to have 100% ZEV sales by 2035, was really a very significant development. I think that statement is going to result in more innovation, more investment, and a focusing of resources. So I think that's huge. Another key development here, again, coming out of California, was the leadership in the final year of Mary Nichols being the CARB chair, was the development and passage of the Advanced Clean Truck Rule. That is the world's first zero-emission truck rule. We're now, as Cristiano mentioned, we're going to be working with other nations to try to get them to adopt it and really try to get to economies of scale a lot faster. One other thing that I just do want to talk about that maybe is a little quieter and some folks aren't aware of it. While we're seeing tremendous development in CALSTART itself is pushing ahead for new vehicles sold being zero emission as much as possible. We had something very interesting happen this year with a decline in gasoline and diesel demand. The San Francisco Bay Area has 5 oil refineries. 2 of them shut down because of demand. 2 of them have switched over to the development of renewable diesel. So I think we have to recognize that we have got a huge base of existing internal combustion engine vehicles, and there's a huge opportunity for the renewable fuels industry. And we're seeing a growth in renewable diesel, biodiesel, lower carbon ethanol, even renewable natural gas. So I think there's a huge opportunity for us and our members in that space. And one of the things we launched this year, late in the year, was a campaign to support industry in Washington and to try to get the state of Washington to adopt the low carbon fuel standard. So that's another thing that I'm really excited about.
All right, John. Well, for time, that's going to have to be the last word, but thank you so much. And I think with this new administration coming in, I think there's maybe more fair wind in the sails of this industry heading into 2021. So thank you so much, John, for leadership and insight.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to all of you for joining CCTU over the last year. You know, we started with a vision, Alicia, in the COVID lockdowns of trying to keep us all more connected than ever. And it turned out to be far more than we expected. You know, CCTU was an experiment in better highlighting the great progress of our industry, the people and companies driving it forward, and those areas where we need to learn more and focus our work. And it turned into a living conversation each week, really a half hour to come together. From your perspective, what were some of the top moments that really made this worthwhile?
Well, I have to say, Bill, for me, during this pandemic, this has been the one thing that has kept me going. I have looked forward to doing this every week with you and the team, and I've been honored to have that opportunity. There's so many things that we've done this year that I have really loved, and some of the segments that we've featured this year, including the maritime segment, with Christian Jokinen on our team, talking with BAE Systems and ABB about, you know, looking at battery electric vessels and hydrogen vessels. I mean, it's just amazing where we're going, and certainly all of our conversations with Drive to Zero, innovative mobility team, and certainly our focus on hydrogen and battery electric charging technologies as we look at infrastructure. It's been an impressive year and just great conversations all around.
Impressive, yes. And, you know, and I'm just looking at some of the kind comments that people are putting into chat even now as we speak. I think people have appreciated a positive view, a realistic but positive view of coming together and actually showing progress and how we can work together. But as you point out, it's been exhaustive. We're going to take a break for the holidays, as we hope all of you will be able to. We'll be recharging and refueling, but we will be back and ready for action with you on January 15th for season 2 of CCTU. So we do want to have you let us know what kind of topics you'd like to see in the coming year. Until then, I'm Bill Van Amberg.
And I'm Alicia Gildy. And everyone, look, we're seeing new numbers in terms of numbers increasing at such an alarming rate with COVID. So please take good care of yourself, take care of your families, enjoy a wonderful holiday. And thank you for making CCTU happen for us. We look forward to coming back to you next year. And please stay on because we have a little blooper reel, Bill, I think that we'll be featuring at the end of the segment.
That is so true. That's right. From all of us at CALSTART, have a great holiday season. Stay connected. We will CCTU right here at 11 a.m. on January 15th. And to tide you over, here's a moment of smiles for you. Goodbye. CCTU to register. It's out past Venus. Okay. I dare you.
All right, we're doing this. Visit our website. Do that again. CCT update for the last episodes for CCTU. Okay, that is a wordful. So and register for next episodes. Clean commercial transportation. Upcoming.
Or browse other sections of the website because it's got a lot of details on it.
Yeah, this one's a tongue twister a little bit.
It is. Season 2 of CCTU coming at you right here. We're done with that puppy. Okay.
Got that one. All right.
This week in CCTU and then next week in CCTU.